Welcome to Self-Discovery Media Network, formerly known as Self-Discovery Radio. Each week we bring you illuminating shows from those making a difference in the lives of others. They've taken their own journey. They're here to share their skills, their wisdom to help you on yours. You can see more about us at selfdiscoverymedia.com, and please listen to our wonderful collection of shows. Our next show is...
Awesome. Good day, everybody, and welcome to Recovering the Whole of You. My name is Dr. Kitty Adley, recovery expert and physical therapist. I am the owner and senior physical therapist of Handling Your Health in Nassau, Bahamas. But we not just service the Bahamas, we service beyond. I am so ecstatic to have today as my guest Mr. Nixon Dorvilien, who is an athletic trainer with the Utah Jazz. Good evening and welcome.
Thank you for having me, Kitty. Good evening to you too.
All righty. So this meeting's been in planning for a little while, trying to get you off your schedule. And thank you so much for taking the time out. I know every night off is a good night for you because you're so busy.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yes. Yes.
But we really wanted to have you on and talk to you tonight about the recovery aspect of the athlete. And I mean, who better to talk about it than you, who've served in so many different roles. So just give us a little bit, a little brief history of yourself and your professional career.
Well, I'll start by saying this. I was very fortunate visiting from college one day to do an observation with this wonderful physio, Nixon Dorvilien. Yes, I was very fortunate, and after watching her in her work setting, that propelled me to take school super serious and want to be like her. So, Kitty, I just want to let the world know, thank you. Thank you for having me. Thank you for inspiring me. I wouldn't be here without you. Thank you.
It is my pleasure, and I'm happy that I unknowingly did that.
No, it's funny because I don't think I ever told you, but you know, we're talking about the show, and I'm just like, I remember I all got started after watching you. You know, my sister kept telling me, you need to meet this physio, you need to meet her, you need to meet her. She's so good. Then I went and I was blown away, and yeah, I went back home. I went back to university. I was telling everybody about you, you know, and I just remember, you know, good role model. Thank you again for having me.
My pleasure.
So, I did my undergrad at Park University, and I got my degree in athletic training. I think I minored in biology. It's been so long, but anyways. And then after that, I remember I actually came back home. I came back to Bahamas, and I remember it was like the week before I was supposed to start a job back home. I don't remember exactly what the job was, but I was going to be working back home. I got a call from somebody I did an internship with, and he just called and told me about this program at Texas Tech, and you know, thought it would be good for me to help me advance my career. So I just remember telling my parents, I said, I think this is a sign. I'm moving to Texas. So anyways, and next thing you know, I go to Texas, get my graduate degree in athletic training, a master's in athletic training from Texas Tech Health Sciences Center in Lubbock. Ooh, that was an adventure, but it opened a lot of doors. It was a really good decision to move back out to Lubbock. I moved to Lubbock. I remember I worked with the track and field team during a rotation, but I fell in love with it. And after falling in love with it, and you know, I was passionate about it, I got offered a job during my first. It was a 2-year program. I got offered a job during my first year. I'll never forget. And they were just like, who's this kid who just loves track so much? And you know, I connected with all the athletes. I connected with the coaches. It was wonderful. So I went and I did that. I did that for did that for a year. I did that for a year as a student. I worked at Hale Center High School in Plainview. I think in Hale Center, it's right before Plainview. I worked there for a year. We didn't win one football game. But the crazy thing was, coach said that, don't worry, we're going to win state. 2 years, he's like, we're going to win state. It was crazy. He predicted it. Even though we didn't win a game, he just saw the potential in the team. He was really good, Coach Chandler. So, I got a lot of experience doing football, working at the high school level. And then after that, I worked at Texas Tech full-time for track and field after I was done. With school completely, I was done because I was able to do that. I got my license while I was in school. I was real fortunate. So I was able to, make some money so I didn't have to call and bug my parents all the time. So I did that. I worked at Texas Tech. It was so much fun. We ended up winning Big 12 championship that year. That was huge. But it was short-lived after winning Big 12, and we had so much success. I got recommended for a job in San Antonio with San Antonio Spurs, and it was basketball. And I didn't know anything about basketball. I just remember, I went for the interview. I got this job. I got offered the job. I came back. I was like, I don't know if I want, And I just remember the students were like, "You gotta go. You can't stay here. You gotta go." The students actually told me to go, and I got out of my comfort zone of track and field, and I got into basketball. And you grow when you get out of your comfort zone, right? So that was an amazing experience, and this is my 13th season now in the NBA. I started with San Antonio. I worked 6 years with the Spurs. I did 1 year with the developmental league, the Austin Toros. We won the championship with the Spurs, won a championship with the Toros. Then after that, I was fortunate to move on to Brooklyn Nets. I was there for 2 years. After Brooklyn, I went to Milwaukee. I was there for 2 years, and now I'm starting my 3rd year with the Jazz. And I've held many roles. When I was with San Antonio, I started off as an equipment manager. During the summertime, I got to do all the athletic training, during the summer leagues. I was able to, when I was in the D-League, I was the head athletic trainer, the head strength coach, the travel coordinator. I held many jobs. When I went to Brooklyn, I was an assistant trainer. In Milwaukee, I did multiple roles. In the Utah Jazz, they created a position for me. So it's just I could do a little bit of everything. Just because not afraid to get my hands dirty. And during the summertime, every summer I'd find some course to go to just make sure I make myself better, and just keep trying to grow. And there's a funny thing about me ending up here in Utah now. My very first summer league, I'll never forget, in 2006, the summer of 2006, I get sent out to Utah. They had the Rocky Mountain Review, that's what they called it. And I remember that I met Gary Briggs. He was the head athletic trainer here many years. He met me, he's showing me the lay of the land, and, he's helping me out. He gave me the nickname Calypso because he found that I was from the Caribbean, And ever since then, he was just always someone, a real nice guy. But I owned it, just like the sense of pride being from the Caribbean, it's just something you don't want to hide, Hey, I'm from somewhere different, but, I can hang with the best of them, It's just something I'm real proud of. But, yeah, so this 13 years in here in All-Star break in Utah. So just got this big snowstorm coming in, so I'm on All-Star break until about next week, and then we get ready for the playoff push, and hopefully we make some noise, keep everybody, get everybody ready to go. So
okay. So people are actually going to hear this the first weekend in March, because March is Athletic Trainers Month, and we want to make sure we're started off with celebrating you. So It'll be a little after All-Star Week when they hear this. So I just want to put that little point of reference in there.
Oh,
But we're glad that you're getting a break. We're glad that you're getting
yeah.
a break. All right. So like we just really wanted to talk about the whole recovery process of it. But I think before we even start talking about recovery, how do we get the best athlete ever? What do we do to prepare an athlete to be the best and to avoid injuries?
That's a good one. You know, I've I've been reading. There's this book called The Talent Code, and the sport. There's two books, The Talent Code and the Sports Gene, and those two books they talk about how, for example, the Talent Code. I think Daniel Coy is his name. He goes around and studies hotbeds all around the world. He studied Brazil soccer, Jamaica track and field, USA swimming, South Korea golf. But the thing that the Sports Gene book finds is, you know, you don't want to go in and from day one, when the kid's 2-3 years old, put a tennis racket in their hand and say, oh, you're going to be the next Andre Agassi, or, you know, you're going to be the next Serena Williams, or, you know, at age 2, you're going to be the next Usain Bolt. It kind of doesn't work like that. You want to avoid burnout. So I want to mention it, but I'm not going to, I don't have my reference for it. But there's a huge cross. It's like a research. They researched all the Olympic athletes, and there was a large number of the Olympic athletes who actually didn't specialize. They played multiple sports.
Right.
You want to avoid burnout, because if you go and, like, for example, if you start playing basketball at age 4 and that's all you do, by the time you get to 16, your body wants no more basketball, your mind wants no more basketball. So it's a fine balance. It's a fine balance. I listened to this podcast, and there were Freakonomics. They do a series, Freakonomics podcast. They do a series on Olympians and professional athletes, and a gymnast, I think her name was Johnson, was her last name. She was on, and she was talking about how some of it is luck. You know, you have to somewhat be in the right place at the right time to get the right training, to get the right coach, to get the opportunity, and to stay healthy. You know, some of it is luck. You know, you can be great, but if you're not healthy, you can't be great. You know, and you can have a bundle of talent, but if you don't have the right person to help guide that talent, then it won't happen. So sometimes the stars have to align.
Right.
Stars have to align, you know. But, you know, everybody plays their part, and, you know, work as a team. In my environment, collaboration's huge. We work on mental health. We work on nutrition. We work with strength and conditioning. You know, the athletic trainers. Everybody work together to actually try to, you know, it's collaborative to try to make this work. Because the days of, oh, I do this, and like not working as, those days are gone. Yeah, those days are gone. Now we're one unit. You know, a lot of teams, a lot of places, they're calling their staff performance health staffs. You know, the name's changing. You know, so the name's changing just with the time. So that's kind of how it is on my end. But for me, I'm very fortunate, because when I worked at the university or Texas Tech, and when I, you know, worked with all these teams in the NBA, I've just been real fortunate to have resources. And you have to be able to, the resources are there, so you maximize the resources. You know, you collaborate with the strength coaches, you collaborate with the mental health, you collaborate with nutrition, you work with all of these people, you know, to maximize your return for your athletes, because at the end of the day, it's all results, right? It's
Right.
results. It's not how good I am, how good you are. No, it's let's work together and let's get the results, and everybody gets taken care of. So maximizing, I mean, being, having your resources.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that goes to for me now. So for me, I'm very fortunate, right? We have tons of fun toys. So we have, and when I say toys, it's just different techniques, different forms of recovery for each. Okay, we have 15 or 17 players, right? They're all different. You want to individualize it for the guys. Yeah, you might have 4 guys who do the same thing, but you might have 3 guys who want to do something completely different.
That's so important.
Yeah. So, for example, the way it's about, just having these guys embrace, elite behaviors, right? Because you want them to participate and to be a part of their long-term health care and recovery.
There you go.
You want them to really just depend on you. You want to educate them along the way to help with longevity, So for example, and let me just give it a little list of different and let's talk about post-game options, right? Like post-game. So we'll have, we have a hot tub, we have a cold tub, we have a pool, we have a cryo chamber, we have Normatec units, we have game ready units, we have recovery types, we have tables for massage, we have tables for stretching afterwards. There's so much options that's kind of tailored to, individualized care for each of these individuals. And this is at the collegiate level, big time programs. This is at, professional. This is how it is right now. It's somewhat of an arms race in recovery, so for you talking about recovery, I'm excited about it just because, sometimes I think how different it is compared to when I first started in the NBA. Now we really have a menu. We have a menu of options for the players to recover.
That's so awesome, because when you talk about elite behaviors, and that's literally what it is, getting them to understand it's their behaviors that are going to determine how well they do, right? To staying well. And so let's talk about their food, nutrition, and what are you guys doing in terms of rest and rejuvenation in the mind frame? What's happening on that level for you?
So we not only just here, but a lot of elite programs across the country, they have performance chefs, they have mental health coaches. So let me give you an example. You have 15 players on our team. Each player has individual dietary and nutrition plans.
Okay.
Each of them, it's strict. They're tested. It's tailored to what they need to help maximize recovery. For example, if somebody's allergic to eggs, or if somebody has celiac, you're not going to give them eggs. You're not going to give them, wheat, to just have them feeling sluggish. So everything's so custom. It's really cool. For example, post game, if somebody's just amped up after the game, we have mental health coaches there, to help calm them down, because not only that, but you want to practice mental health. You can't worry just about the body and not care about the mind. And resources, and it's growing now. Resources are being pumped into mental health care because people are just okay, and that's a rabbit hole, but let me just put it, resources are being put into, because you want to be able to make the athlete whole, right?
Right.
And you promote the what's the word?
Holistic approach, holistic wellness.
Yeah, holistic. I say collaborative, but yeah, holistic is perfect. You know, you look at the whole body, you know. So, so, you know, you have people to, you know, help, you know, and whatever technique they use, meditation, or if they just have somebody to talk to, you know, post game. So, and this leads me to, you know, one of the biggest recovery is having athletes being able to sleep. Almost everything we do is based around sleep, because if you sleep deprived, you're so much more at risk, you know, because you're not optimal. You're fatigued. Your nervous system's not firing like it should. You know, you're not optimal. So big thing is sleep. In addition to having all these other fun toys and, you know, that we have, you know, we even have a float part. It's sensory deprivation. I don't know if you ever went in one. It's really cool. I went in a few times to try it out. It's nice. You know, it helps players relax. Like all of our guys who go in and they come out and they're like, oh. So, anyways, I just had to throw that there because that's something I thought of.
I often wonder what strategies you guys use when you travel between the different time zones, getting them down to rest with adequate rest when you're moving from the East Coast to the West Coast, because those few hours can make a difference in somebody's circadian rhythm.
It's huge. So what we do is, so for example, and not only us, a lot of people, a lot of teams, you know, the elite programs are doing this. You get with a sleep consultant, and they tips on the best supplements to have. On the example, you know, you want to drink cherry tart juice, you know, on the plane, you know, that's something that helps relax you. So when you get to the room, you're more likely to just pass out on the bed, you know. And in addition to that, you know, there is wine that, like, there's a supplement, there's a station just called Wind Down. Like there's drinks, you know, you have Psalm, well, just tons of magnesium. We have everything tailored to pre-game, post-game supplementation, in-game supplementation. It's exciting. I'm all excited talking about it. Sorry, but we have so yeah, you just break it down. You plan it. It's collaborative, right? What are we doing pre-game? What are we doing during the game? What are we doing post-game? When we're on the plane, we are going on a 3-4 hour flight. You know, we get recovery tights for the players. You know, because, you know, during the game, if somebody has a nagging injury, you might have a little bit of swelling in the knee.
Right.
So
you use the compression with the flight.
We use compression.
Fantastic.
On plane too. On our plane too, we have the Normatec units, you know, to help with recovery. In addition to sorry, that was my battery going down. I forgot to charge my iPad. In addition to so we're on the plane because we're fortunate that, you know, the plane's like, it's chartered, so it's you know, there's space for the players to be able to lay out. If they need to sleep, they can sleep. You know, if they need to do treatments, we're doing treatments on board. You know, we could take our Normatecs up, our Game Readies up, and like I said, recovery tights, recovery socks, everything just to maximize your return, to hopefully get them ready to turn around. You know, there's no junk food on the plane. You know, everything's clean, like it's clean eating. You know, it's just you trying to make this body as efficient as possible, you know, at all times. So that's what we do. And you know, everything's, like I said, you look at the game set, like the schedule comes out in August, so you have everything's planned out from August. You know,
so proper planning and preparation is key.
Oh, for sure. And like I say, it's collaborative. Like there's everyone sitting in and everyone's putting input based on experience and, you know, research and science. You know, just like, oh, we're just gonna do this just to do this. No, what's your why? Why are we doing this? You know, there's what's your why? It's important. Really good book too. I read Start with Why. That changed a lot for me. I love that book.
Yep. So this is a lot of information, and you're fortunate to work in an environment where you have all of these resources. So speak to the athletic trainers and we'll celebrate the athletic trainers. Speak to the athletic trainers who may not have all of these things at their disposal. You guys are well trained. What advice would you give them in terms of making sure they're keeping their self-developing with recovery techniques? Because a lot of times we get our titles and we get comfortable where we're at, and you and I just spoke about stretching ourselves, getting uncomfortable. What advice would you give an athletic trainer to grow and stretch themselves to be the best they can be in terms of being a recovery deliverer?
Well, the first thing is you can't get comfortable. The very first thing I was told when I started in NBA, I'll never forget this. The minute you get comfortable, you're going to be gone. That's what they told me. Because you have to keep growing.
Right.
The technology is changing, the science is changing, but the best advice I could give anybody is you need to remember every single person you interact with is different. What works for athlete A might not work for athlete B, even if it's the exact same injury, And when I say that, and I don't want to get too technical, but what's your why? Why are you doing this? And what's your goal? And I'm only saying that you don't want to get cookie cutter, because
Right.
when you get cookie cutter, then you're going to stop growing, that's why. And the best advice I could give too is, for example, I'm fortunate I work in the NBA, but I reach out to my friends in the NHL. I reach out to friends in high school, because think about it. Just because you're a different setting, you can learn things, I go to my friends' clinic sometimes. I see what they're doing in the clinic. You just have to keep that network going, and then you could find out that can help with your why. Well, why are you doing that?
Right.
And I love when people question me. I don't get offended. I don't get mad or any of that stuff. I love it because it makes me have to explain it. Because if you can't explain why you're doing it, you probably shouldn't be doing it. That's just what I think. But, so for me, I love when somebody asks me or challenge me, and it makes me grow. Because I remember on my internship, my athletic training internship, I worked with Dr. Munger. I'll never forget this. Every single day he would come and ask me something I didn't know. And I was just like, why is this happening? And then so I was like, I don't know. He's like, you can't say you don't know. You can't say you don't know. You're going to be responsible for people's lives and livelihood, So then I remember I would always go to after my internship, I would stop at the library and I'd go read about what he asked me. And I just got in the habit of doing that. I did that for a full year working with him. And then, anyways, that turned out to be a blessing in disguise. But just don't be afraid to ask and say you don't know. And, just reach out to people. Like, I would love to share ideas with people, especially my Caribbean people. Hello, I would love to share ideas, reach out to me, send me an email, and, we could talk about it because, I feel like together it's easy. It's when you're by yourself, it's hard.
I know, because you've been my phone a friend on a few occasions. I've treated athletes occasionally, and when I get stuck with an injury, because I don't see them a whole heap, sometimes I'm like, look, let me stop trying to fight this, and I call you up and I said, look, Nixon, this person is X, Y, and Z, presenting an X, Y, and Z. What do you think? And we've been able to go over differential diagnoses. You've been able to hone in a little bit more, give me treatment techniques, let me know which tool to use, because you do this 24/7. And I'm just so happy that I have you as a resource. And even though we're different professions, because our paths cross and we serve the same people, you're able to help me be a better physical therapist. And I really, truly appreciate that.
I don't know if I ever told you this for the record. You worked with an NBA Hall of Famer once, and he loved you. Just for the record.
I had no clue. I had no clue who he was. I was like, I'm going to see him. And he was like, what? He plays for the Celtics. I'm like, so for everybody listening, I'm not a big NBA fan. Well, I shouldn't say I'm not a fan. I don't really follow the games and follow the players. I know like the top 4 or 5. I do know the 2 Bahamians. So shout out to Andrew Aiken. Not Andrew Ayton, sorry. And Buddy Hield. Oh, and then we have Joquel Jones, who's over. She's not in the NBA, but I think she's in Europe now.
Ooh, I heard about her, yes.
I know my Bahamians, but I don't know everybody. And I didn't know this one Nixon sent me too. So it was a great experience. It was really,
yes,
really.
And you hit a home run. Thank you so much. But yeah, but Kitty, honestly, it's just having fun, right? You just have to have fun with what you do. Keep trying to grow, and if you're really passionate about it and you care about people, that's what we do. We care. That's why we're helping them get better.
Right.
You just keep getting better. Like, for example, every summer I find some course to go to, I get real uncomfortable. I go there, I feel, I'm like, oh my gosh, I shouldn't even be working with people, because you're learning this new technique. It takes a while to get it, and in my case, you have millions and millions on the line, so you can't mess them up. So, but I'm used to it now.
Yeah.
But no, it's fun. I really enjoy what I do, and I don't know. I go to work every day, and my wife's like, "You have so much fun." I'm like, "Yeah, it beats working for a living." I go to work. I have fun. I work with people who want to get better, and that's why I mentioned earlier about having them. You educate them, and you have them buy into their own recovery, and you teach them like their elite behaviors, and then because you have to have those to last at an elite level. If not, the production falls down, because I don't know if the human body was designed to swing baseballs and run and jump and dunk. I don't know. That's a whole nother topic.
Definitely.
You have to take care. You have to take care of your wheels. You have to take care of your money makers. So.
Yeah. So I mean, we've explored a lot of things. So let's speak to the parents who want these athletes, these children that they have. But these are the babies that I see. I call them my babies because But you have these parents that are pushing the children. We talked about cross-training them, not having them specialize so early, because we don't want repetitive stress injuries. We don't want burnout. We don't want all the things that we see with these kids that have been just shoved down the baseball league or the basketball league or the gymnastics league. But let's wrap up and let's talk about nuggets that parents can take home and do like tonight for a young athlete in terms of recovery of an injury. One, we want them to make sure they seek out a medical professional, whether it's the athletic trainer, whether it's a physical therapist, because you want a rehab person. But what other nuggets would you leave for protection and recovery for young athletes?
Rome wasn't built in a day. And when I say that, no, I'm serious. When I say that, for example, a few days ago, I was talking to, one of my athletes, and he said the best thing that helped him get to the NBA and help him to get where he got was he had broken his ankle and he had to take a year off. Mm-hmm. And, and he said this, looking back on it, it gave his body time to just heal, not just there, but, other places. So for example, if you do get an injury, if the parents, you have an injury and your physical therapist or your athletic trainer tells you, hey, you might want to, take some time off and let them heal. That's okay. That's okay. And I'm so happy you asked this, because one thing I actually always do is in 13 years, I always ask a lot of the players their story, how they got to the NBA, because for me, that's the fun part. Because, I have 3 little ones now, but I always wanted to know, not that I want them to get to the NBA or whatever, but I just wanted to know stories of greatness. And most of them always said, yeah, I didn't specialize. No, I played different sports.
Right.
They all play different sports, and you have fun, because if you go specialize from day one and you burn out, you imagine, it works for some people, but not for all.
Mm-hmm.
But if you, from age 3 or 4, you put a racket in someone's hand, and as it's so competitive, and like traveling now, and there's all these tournaments. By the time they get to 12, God forbid 16, they're burned out.
Mm-hmm.
So the thing is, the best advice I give is have them do different sports.
Okay.
Have them have fun. Have them just be balanced in life. Just be balanced in life, because sports is for a while. Then you still have life afterwards. So that's something I would really, share with parents or athletic trainers or physios or physical therapists. Just, hey, it's. I know at the moment it seems like, oh, we have to get them back to play. You have to really? No. It's different in the playoffs. That's something different. There's like, a lot at stake. But you're in junior high, high school, middle school. You just have fun. If you get a boo-boo, it's okay. Sit down, watch, you learn. So that's and I love to visit. My email is attached to, for anyone who wants to like drop me a line and you want to like share ideas, bounce ideas. I'd love to share ideas, bounce ideas with you, just based on my experience, and my experience mightn't just be right for everything, because you know what? I've never worked with swimmers. I could probably learn from somebody who works with swimmers, if they're asking me something. So,
right.
It's just, just have fun, and like, it'll work out. That's just, that's just me. Maybe that's just my island in me, but I just never panic when I see situations. I don't panic, it could be worse, or, there's the process to get better,
Right.
Always go through a process, that's just me.
Good stuff. So have fun, rest, don't specialize too early.
No.
We talked about good nutrition,
for sure.
Good rest, mental health, formulating elite behavior. So you've left us with a lot of good nuggets, and I am just so happy to have you here. I know a lot of people are going to listen to this, and hopefully they can find points of connection. And like you said, your email is attached so people can reach out to you. But thank you for what you do. Thank you for who you serve. Even though, you take care of the upper, you're still, taking time out to give us some points. And I'm just so grateful to have these few minutes with you to share, and we'll probably bring you back to talk about other things. We could probably pick injuries next time. You never know.
Oh yes, I'd love to.
So if anybody's listening and you want us to go through different injuries or just basketball related injuries, we can definitely do that with Nixon. But this is about recovery, and a lot of recovery can be avoided if you do good prevention. So, you can't have one without the other. And so, Nixon, again, thank you so much for being a guest on Recovering the Whole of You. And I am so appreciative to those of you that are going to take the time out to listen to this. Please listen and please share, and feel free to comment and reach out to us. Have a fantastic day, and we wish you all the best.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
For more wonderful shows like this, please go to selfdiscoveryradio.com, podcasts, and see our lineup. And if you wish to support us, we have a funded button. Please stay tuned for our next show.